Morning, good afternoon, or good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Today we're just going to have a short chat about coffee. And the coffee we're going to be talking about today is going to be Nova Coffee, in particular, an advanced cognitive formula. So let me give you just a couple of quick facts about coffee, and then we're going to head on over to the ingredients, okay? Ladies and gentlemen, 2.25 billion cups of coffee are consumed daily globally. And in the United States alone, over 400 million cups of coffee are consumed every day in the US. I've actually already had 2 or 3 cups today myself. The next fact will be that coffee is the number 2 most consumed beverage in the world behind water, and coffee is the second most consumed beverage, okay, behind water, but it's also the second most consumed commodity on the stock exchange behind crude oil. So you're looking at the number 2 traded stock, and you're looking at the number 2 most consumed beverage, and it's over 155 billion a year in revenue is the coffee industry, and that number goes up and up and up. Another thing I'll share with you is that this particular coffee that we're going to be talking about today, very, very, very interesting for several reasons. We're going to talk to you about the incredible taste of the coffee in a moment. But prior to that, I also want to tell you about the ingredients of the coffee and why it's so important. So the average cup of coffee is about $3.93 per cup. And that's over $115 a month, even if you only drunk 1 cup a day. Okay, this particular coffee is only $34 for a month supply, and that breaks down to less than $1.30 a cup, which is less than half. Okay, so it's a more affordable coffee. And then on top of that, I want you to look at some of these ingredients, okay, like ashwagandha, Winifia somnifera, mucuna pruriens or velvet bean, DHA, okay, I'm not going to try to even pronounce that word, but DHA, Bacopa monnieri, Gotu Cola, and a few other really cool ingredients. The reason I want you to take a look at those ingredients while exploring this Nova Coffee opportunity with us is because we're going to go on over to pubmed.gov, the number 1 resource for peer-reviewed medical research in the world. PubMed.gov is the undisputed number 1 resource for that, with over 33 million citations of biomedical literature. So let's just talk about the ingredients in the coffee. First one we're going to take a look at is going to be Bacopa monnieri. You just saw that ingredient a second ago. And without going into the full text of the article, let's just look at some of these results, ladies and gentlemen. This particular analysis suggests that Bacopa monnieri has the potential to improve cognition, particularly speed of attention. Okay, speed of attention and speed of focus. And of course, it's going to take many, many more years of study to really get all the good ingredients and good testimonials about that particular ingredient in there, but isn't something that increases the speed of attention, the speed of focus of your brain. Isn't that something you would want in your coffee? I know I would. The second ingredient we're going to take a look at is going to be mucuna pruriens. You saw that on the previous page, and here they're going to call it MP. All right, and this is from the Journal of Chemical Neuroanatomy, all right, from Science Direct, also from PubMed.gov. And we can just dip over to the highlights rather than read the whole article for time purposes. You can come read this article on your own whenever you're ready. But it says here that Parkinson's disease is the second most common neurodegenerative disorder, second to Alzheimer's disease. And then the last part of the highlight says that MP, or mucuna pruriens, protects or prevents the progression of Parkinson's disease by inhibiting the neuroinflammatory cascade. Ladies and gentlemen, this is an incredible, incredible ingredient that you definitely would want to have in your coffee if you could. Starbucks cannot touch that. A really great thing is, before we go over to another ingredient, ladies and gentlemen, is that I'm not giving you any medical claims today. Okay, I'm simply showing you peer-reviewed medical research on the ingredients that happen to be in the coffee. You can do this research on your own, okay? I'm also going to tell you that I'm not making any income claims today, but it is true that people who decided to partner up with us in this financial opportunity, which is also attached, you'll learn about that later, have made anywhere from hundreds of thousands of dollars as individuals, and as a collective, millions and millions of dollars have been paid out through a financial mechanism attached to this coffee, which you'll learn about at the end of this short video. So let's move on to another ingredient, because if the coffee is not special, who cares how much it costs, right? Now let's look at this next article from PubMed.gov. Neurodegenerative diseases and withania somnifera. Okay, that is also known as ashwagandha. You just saw that in a couple of slides ago. And we can just go right to the actual results, ladies and gentlemen. Research reports based largely on preclinical studies, which are very important, as well as few clinical trials, have highlighted the neuroprotective role of ashwagandha against what? Many neurodegenerative diseases, including Alzheimer's, Huntington's, and Parkinson's. Okay. The protective effects of ashwagandha were accomplished by restoring mitochondrial and endothelial function, mitigation of apoptosis, that means it prevented brain cells from dying, inflammation, and oxidative stress mechanisms. This is an incredible ingredient, ladies and gentlemen, in the coffee. And again, you're not going to find that in any other coffee in the world. Now, also, let's go to one or two more ingredients and we'll wrap this video up for you. But I love talking about how important this coffee is for everyone. And this video is called, this particular article is called Health Benefits of DHA. Okay, now right here, you'll see that DHA is essential for the growth and functional development of the brain in infants. But it doesn't stop there. DHA is also required. It's a very important word in medical research, required for maintenance of normal brain function in adults. In short, ladies and gentlemen, if you don't have enough DHA, which is required for the maintenance of your normal brain function, you're going to have issues as an adult with your brain. And that is why people see these other articles talk about Alzheimer's, dementia, Parkinson's, Huntington's, and these neurodegenerative diseases. So we can dive on into that, but just keep in mind that the opposite effects, if you take DHA, look at what the medical research says. You get the opposite of inflammation, okay? The opposite of rheumatoid arthritis, the opposite effects of asthma. So this particular ingredient is helping your brain and your body. The DHA also has a positive effect on diseases such as hypertension, okay, arthritis, arteriosclerosis, depression, adult onset diabetes, myocardial infarction, that's a fancy word for heart attack, thrombosis, and some cancers. Ladies and gentlemen, DHA alone is something that everybody should be taking. Now, we could go on to some other really cool articles and ingredients, but I think you kind of get the point. We can do another more detailed video later, but just know that this particular coffee for about $1.25 a cup is absolutely phenomenal. About $1.25 a cup. And it's literally helping your brain and your body in so many areas. I don't know anybody who shouldn't be drinking this particular coffee. Now, if you want to get information on how you can try the coffee out, money back guaranteed, that it's the best tasting cup of coffee you've ever had. We can do that. You can get with the person who sent you this, and you can try the coffee right there. It's absolutely amazing, and it's so inexpensive. You're going to love it. We guarantee it. However, if you decide that you want to learn more about the financial opportunity, where people are making hundreds and hundreds of thousands of dollars promoting this particular coffee, because it's just such a wonderful product. You can get with the person who sent you this video, and they can send you a video about the financial opportunity. But that's only going to be for people who decide to take advantage of our $34.95 member price. Okay, that's only applicable to those individuals who agree to a subscription to try the coffee once a month for $34.95 plus tax and shipping, and you'll be automatically qualified to start earning money today with, quite frankly, one of the most exciting financial opportunities I've ever seen, where people are making literally six figures part-time just by buying, drinking, and referring this coffee. You'd be automatically qualified. So get with the person who sent you this video, and they can get you the information. There's going to be two videos. They can send you a video about how good the coffee tastes and some testimonials, a video about how the money works. And last but not least, let me close with this. People say, Will, why on earth did y'all really decide to focus on coffee, other than the fact that it's a $155 billion industry growing every year? We really wanted to focus on it because it's our intention to serve people, and we knew that ingredients like ashwagandha, mucuna pruriens, DHA, bacopa monnieri, and so many others that are in the coffee were things that people really needed to take because it helps your body, it helps your brain, okay? It's anti-aging. It literally is an incredible set of ingredients. When we promoted these particular minerals and supplements to people, they would buy them, but they became very expensive. I can tell you can't even get one of those for $1.25 a day, much less all five or six of them plus your coffee, okay? So financially, it was better if we packaged everything together. But even then, we realized that people were simply not, they were forgetting to take the supplements, and you got to take the stuff for it to work. But we noticed that people weren't forgetting to drink their coffee. Okay, so what we did was we took the vitamins and minerals and nutrients that everyone needs. especially as you get older. The research is clear on this. And we put that in the coffee, and now nobody forgets to take the products that they need. And at a price of about $1.25 a cup, you really can't top that when the average cup of coffee is $3.93. And I can tell you this as well. Nobody who's drinking Starbucks is making over 100 grand a year part-time from Starbucks. I can tell you that. So let's close with this, ladies and gentlemen. Number one, do you or anyone you know drink coffee at least occasionally? Okay, I bet that answer is yes. Number two, what's your favorite brand of coffee? Sometimes people tell me Starbucks or Dunkin' Donuts or so many other places. Awesome. Number three, when's the last time that Starbucks or Dunkin' Donuts or any of these other coffee brands at the store have sent you a check for buying, drinking, or referring coffee? All right, answer is probably never. And last but not least, ladies and gentlemen, if there was a coffee, if there was a company even that would pay you every time you bought, drank, or referred their coffee, would you want to know a little bit about the company or maybe even try the coffee? If you answered yes, get with the person who sent you this video and say, I want to try the coffee. I want to be a customer. Let me try it out. I know it's going to be delicious, money back guaranteed, but send me the testimonial video anyway. And then if I really am interested in making an extra six figures part-time with people who've already done it, by the way, proven people who've already done it, send me that video about how the money works. I just kind of want to take a look at it and I'll make a decision from there. Okay. So check it out, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much for your time, and I'll see you.